Hey guys, welcome back for part 2 of my recap, which is mostly May and June, but we're going to talk a little bit about my first year on YouTube as well. So if you haven't seen the first video is where I do basically my deck haul, tarot deck haul, oracle decks, and Lenormand decks as well. There's quite a number of them, which is why the video is so long. But also I do tend to ramble. So in this video, I'm going to finish off with the acquisitions, which is mostly journals and books, and and then talk about what decks I have been using, what I've been studying, and what I'm planning to do going forward, as well as we'll talk a little bit about my first year on YouTube. So we'll start. Hi, I'm Jade, and I'm a tarot deck collector, tarot deck tart, and I'm also a stationary tart. And I can't resist cool. I love journaling in terms of I just love writing things, writing all kinds of things. I tend to learn best by writing things down. And so I do tend to have a lot of notebooks around me all the time, and I really can't resist cool journals and things. So like, for example, this one, Game of Thrones, is one of my favorite shows and books of all time. It's a Stark, and at the back it says Winter is Coming. I've had this one for a while, and I haven't used it yet because I have a bit of anxiety around what exactly will I use this for, because it has to be special. So that wasn't a new acquisition right now, but I just wanted to show you. So we have an online store that I think is the Canadian equivalent of Half Price Books in the US, and you can buy a lot of things sort of at reduced prices, because I'm not sure if it's like overstock or if it's things that perhaps have been returned, or perhaps they're not in the mint condition anymore. I've never found there really to be any problem. Sometimes I think in my first video I will have shown you actually the Book of Runes. And so the box was a little bit beat up, but the runes and the book itself were perfect. So that doesn't bother me. And hey, if I could save a few dollars, that's great. So I'll just show you quickly. I have a couple of these. Learn from Yesterday, Live for Today, Hope for Tomorrow by Albert and Einstein. So I love journals that have this, because it's just aligned, because when I tend to put some stuff in them, right, like here I've pasted in the images of the cards. That elastic keeps them nice and snug. So I actually got 2 of these, and I did get these ones with a specific intention, and that is for my Reiki studies. So I am starting to study Reiki. I haven't started yet. I've downloaded the first book. There's a very lovely lady who reached out to me on Facebook. I think I was, when am I not suffering from a migraine? Let's be honest, but it was a particularly bad one, and the past couple of weeks have been 3 weeks have been absolutely horrible, mostly because of weather and atmospheric pressure changes and whatnot. And I really don't like taking drugs, so I will take them if I feel like the alternative is chopping my head off. But anyways, this lady reached out to me and said that asked me if I would be interested in a long distance Reiki Healing. So I said, absolutely. That was one thing that I hadn't really tried before. I think I've done something similar. I had a lady who did something similar. And it was wonderful because my migraine didn't 100% go away, but it drastically reduced to the point where I could actually get out of bed, because at this point, I'd been in bed for 30 hours or something. I couldn't even get up. And this, was such a drastic change. And it was really cool because, so she just said, okay, turn off the phone, lie down, close your eyes, just try to relax. So I did, and I just kind of sort of daytime dreaming. I don't know what it is, like just sort of dreaming different things. And at one point I felt my palms like sort of like really itch. I'm like, okay, whatever, right? Could be my allergies. And I actually ended up falling asleep. And then 3 hours later I woke up and I felt so much better. And then I checked my messages, and this lovely lady had said, hey, I put some symbols, I guess, on your palms so that you can repeat this for the next week for yourself whenever you need, and here's the instructions. And so I immediately thought back to like when I felt that itch. It was like it was just like a quick like touch, right? Like very fast and gone. Anyway, it was cool. So this lady offered to teach me. She said the teaching was given to her, and so she, for free, and she was wanting to pass it on. So like, absolutely, I would absolutely love to learn. It has been one of the things that I've been wanting to learn, but I just hadn't gotten around to trying to find a teacher. But I do believe that things are an energy exchange. So what I'm doing, because she won't accept payment, so what I'm doing is I'm going to knit her a pair of socks. Obviously I asked her if that was something that she would like. So I'm going to hand knit her a pair of socks. If you've never worn a pair of socks, hand knit socks before, they're like a hug for your feet. Like walking on clouds. They're amazing. I love them. I wear them every day in the wintertime, sometimes in the summer too. And they have wool has all kinds of great properties. Anyways, all that to say is that I bought 2 of the same book to do my studying, my Reiki studying in. All right. A jot journal, dot journal. I think that's what I was trying to say. Dot journal book. So this is what I mean by the thing. I think that's the only issue with it. I guess maybe somebody dropped it on its corner a little bit. That doesn't bother me. I'm okay. So that's cool. So I'll be using this as a tarot journal at some point. And I'll just go through these real quick. French roses. Make things happen. Just beautiful. They've got the gold edging. I didn't realize this was 2 separate books, but just a little travel journal. Another French, Paris in Bloom book. Gorgeous. And I love that it is the lay flat kind, which is great. This one is cool. I didn't actually realize exactly what I was getting, probably because I didn't read, because I bought these in the middle of the night. I thought this would be similar to this book, but instead It is perforated paper, so you can rip the pages out, and spiral bound, which is very cool because if I'm using this as a deck study journal and I'm pasting in the pages, then it, you know, it won't warp too much, which is great. So I have 2 of those actually. This one, I really love this one as well. Okay, and we'll come back to those ones. Feathers. This one actually had this is going to be for my study of the Moonchild. I love Alice in Wonderland, and so I saw this and I could not resist. And this one here. I also love Ravens and Crows, Transformation and Healing. All right, and then here's another, what the hell, Don Michelle? And I have 3 happy planners. So this has the dot grid paper. That was one. Here's the other one. So seize the day. And then this one says, be filled with wonder. All right, and so that's those 3. So I'm still debating. I think I might do my rune studies in one of these. I'm also debating doing using these as my tarot journals as well, because I really like how Don Michelle and some others I've watched as well. These are brand new. I still haven't even taken the little plastic page protector thing off. But I really like the fact that you can change the rings to bigger rings and just keep adding pages and move pages around. I like that idea. But I don't use 3-ring binders because I just don't like them, and I hate that the rings like often warp. Anyways, so I might do that. Oh, these pages, I think, yeah, you can just, because of how they're made, you can just move the pages around. So when I do tarot challenges, like on Instagram, like Pure Field Healing does some every month. There's a whole bunch of Instagrammers. I like doing those, and I usually do them in my regular tarot journal. But what that means is that I either leave a whole bunch of pages for just that 1 month, and then I run the risk of either not having enough pages or having too many pages. Or I do them interspersed with my other readings, but then I can't look back at them cohesively. So this is great because I will be able to still do my readings, but then like make sure that I group those, because I do like to go back at the end of the month. I do like to go back and look at everything as a whole and see if there's any additional insights. So I think that's definitely what one of these is going to be used for. And then deck studies or something. I think, not deck studies, sorry. I'll talk a little bit later about, my ongoing studies, but I am continuing to study the Tarot de Marseille, and I've already read a couple of books. I'll show those in a minute, but I have a few more, and I learn best by writing and by doing. So I might use one of these for that purpose as well, because I don't necessarily need to have the material all in chronological order by each individual book. So if one book is talking about how to read a spread or something in one particular, in one chapter, and then another book is also talking about how to read a spread, but maybe in a different way, I would like to have that info together so that I can better assimilate. So I think that's what I'm going to use those four, and the third one I'm not sure. Maybe tarot journal, but I have a few tarot journals now, so I'm not 100% sure. I'm gonna move these over here. Okay, I still have a huge amount of stuff. All right, I have one more giant journal, which I don't know if I want to call it. I don't know if I want to call it a book of shadows, or but again, I said I love journaling and I love documenting things. I love documenting my journey with things, just because I love, one thing that I have found very powerful in my life is to be able to go back and look at concrete evidence of where you were versus where you are now, and how far you've come. Your memory is not the best at your memory is not great, right? Like, your memory is not the best at remembering like specific facts or progression that way. Like, you may remember in general, but to actually see it in black and white, I think is a pretty powerful thing. So I bought this. I love it. So this is from Charming Bear Gifts. So the back has the same, so beautiful leather cover with unbleached paper. It does have a beautiful bookmark, and yeah, I haven't put a ton of stuff into here just yet. What I did do though was the cover page, so I'll show you that because I thought it was cool. That image came from, it was a piece of art that, how I found it was actually when I bought the Metaphysician's Planner from Bennabelle Wen. She provided a whole bunch of different options for covers that you could choose, and that was one of them. Anyway, so this is from Charming Bear Gifts. They have a Facebook page, and they sell these books through their Facebook page. I think they travel around as well, obviously in non-COVID situations, but you can order them from there. They're wonderful. They're the two gentlemen there. I'm not sure if they're brothers or anyway, they're business partners, obviously. They are fabulous. They respond immediately. Like, you send them a message on Facebook and they get back to you, like, I think it took like 10 minutes. And they really do their best to make sure that you're super happy. I'm not paid. Hashtag not sponsored. Although Charming Bear Gifts, if you do want to sponsor me, I'm all for it. But anyways, everything was wonderful. They were super great to work with. And I don't say that for a lot of people, so that should tell you something. Okay, so that's all the journals. I don't have anything else to talk about that I've purchased. So let's talk about what decks I've used. Let me move these out of the way. I still have a mound of stuff. Okay, so I'm gonna go through these real quick because we're already at 20 minutes. Number one, I've started to use my Herb Crafters Tarot. This is a beautiful deck. It's a powerful deck. And actually I did a reading for myself with this deck recently, and I didn't have the book handy, so I just, I did my reading based on just what I saw on the cards. I don't have a lot of experience with, I love that card. I don't have a lot of experience with herbs and whatnot and their properties. And oops, the person that I was talking to at the time, just sort of like on Messenger, she is an expert herbalist, and so I said, okay, well, I'm going to do a reading on this particular thing. And okay, I sent her a picture. I'm like, this is what I see. I was sort of doing an option A, option B thing. And she, I didn't ask her to pipe in or anything. It was just kind of sort of just not shooting the shit, but like, just sort of working through things. And, I was willing to listen to her opinion, obviously. Anyways, but she piped in with all stuff about the specific plants and how that tied into like why that card was chosen for this, that plant was chosen for this card, and how that brings in, how that brings, the properties of the plants actually bring in part of the meaning, and it was unbelievable. So I definitely need to work way more with this, and I definitely need to learn more about herbs and plants. That is what I will use one of my journals for sure, because I know basic ones, right? Like the basics that Italians tend to use for cooking mostly. But even then, like the metaphysical stuff, I don't know. So that's so many things to study and so little time. All right, so that's one deck. The next deck that I've been using, so I was talking about studying TDM, right? Tarot de Marseille, and I've been using my marshmallow deck. Sorry, I know it looks messy. It's because I had this old piece of silk and I just put it in because I find it easier to take the cards in and out. Everyone has seen this. This is by Wandering Oracle. And I love this deck very, very much. Love the colors. I know some people don't, on the Tarot de Marseille, here's the backs. On the Tarot de Marseille Facebook group, there's a lot of purists that say, no, this is not a TDM because it has things like, non-standard colors, but also, for example, I think there are pink horses, or there's a green bull, right? So it's got some non-standard stuff. That doesn't bother me. I really love this deck. And I am going to continue working with this for the next while as I continue to study the Marseille. So the Wandering Oracle also has another deck, another Marseille style deck, which is called the Tarot Sirène. And I had 2 copies of that. And last month, or a few weeks ago, I put up a bunch of decks. Mostly they were doubles of decks that I had. Put them up for sale. And in one case, I actually sold the Tattoo Tarot as well, because I just found it's so big that I wasn't, like, I love the deck, but it was so big that I wasn't really reaching for it. So, and there are other decks that I love more, like this one and the Tarot Classic as well, which I might as well show next. And so I put one of my copies of the Tarot Sirène up for sale, and it sold. And then another lady was saying, oh, you know what, like, I've been trying so hard, I've been placing all these ads for this for that deck, and I just haven't been able to get it. And of course, because of COVID, the creators closed anyway. So I let her have my remaining copy, because I sat back and I really looked at, I've had it for a couple months now, and I haven't looked at it once. Well, no, I shouldn't say that. I have looked at it. I have read it. I have read with it. I've had it for more than a few months. But I don't reach for it that much. I would much rather reach for this one. I'm not a huge mermaid fan. I like mermaids. I have the Dame Darcy Mermaid Tarot, and I have the Mermaid's Tarot by Lisa Robertson, I think. And I love those decks, and I reach for those ones. Those are not TDM though; they're RWS. And I just found there was a bit of a disconnect for me with the TDM. It's a beautiful deck. I love it, love it, love it. But I was able to make someone really happy, so I'm glad I let it go. All right, so that's the Tarot Classic. The next one I've been working with is in my handmade pouch. My Aquarium Tarot. This is the Italian version. I love that the backs don't have that white border on the Italian version. And other than that, and the fact that it's Italian, which is great for me. The images are the exact same as on the English version. As far as I could tell, I did go through and compare a number of the cards. So I've been using this one. I started doing some sort of trying to do some ancestor readings, and I don't know, for some reason I was called to use this one, so that's what I'm going to be using this deck for. Yeah, this one, and along with this, I do like to pair an oracle deck with it, and because it's for an ancestor reading, I pair the also in a hand spun hand knit pouch is my ancestors angels and ancestors deck. These are, for some reason, they are all discombobulated. This deck is wonderful. Like I use this deck a couple of different ways. One, to sort of give advice after the main tarot reading. And in other cases, obviously I decide ahead of time. But in other cases, I will draw the oracle card first to set a theme for the tarot reading. And it has been working. I love this image. It's been working great. So, and when I use oracle cards, unlike with tarot, when I use oracle cards, I actually really enjoy looking at the book. So, I mean, obviously, like usually what happens is that the image itself and the key phrase at the bottom, keywords or key phrase, are usually enough to work with. But I find that reading through the book, especially this one, which is really well done, just adds a whole other, adds a lot to the reading. So I'm enjoying doing that. All right, oh my God, we're at half an hour. I have been using also in my hand crocheted, my Falarcos Tarot. So this was one of the decks that I sold as well. I had an extra copy, and for the longest time there was like, no, there's no way I'm going to get rid of it, but the other one. But I decided, you know what, I need to stop just hoarding stuff if I don't need to. This deck is it's the hanged one. It sits upside down. It's very dreamy. Like the artwork is very, very dreamy, very psychedelic is not the right word, but it is very expressive. I just love the combination. I love the colors palette. I love, look at the expression on that person's face. I will be honest that the book, I don't like the book. I'll just be frank. I don't like the book meanings. I think that the creator, who I think is amazing, I think This is an amazing deck. I will never be letting go of this deck, ever. And I will be very sad if it ever goes out of print, now that I got rid of my other copy. But the deck is amazing. And it just, I use this for, you can use it for anything. Obviously, you can use any deck for anything. But I have been using this for like dream interpretations, sort of spiritual guidance kind of stuff. Very specific sort of things. Like, oh my gosh, beautiful. But when you, like, sometimes I look at the image and I'm just like, I'm not sure. I'm not sure which way to, I'm not sure which way to interpret this or how to interpret this, just like based on the image. Without, I mean, obviously without calling, I can always like say, oh, okay, 6 of wings, it's 6 of air, 6 of swords, you know, and recalling the Rider-Waite-Smith meaning. I mean, that's fine. You could do that and not worry about it. But what I was really hoping for from the book was that it would give me more of the artist's interpretation and the artist, like, what did the artist intend for this? Like, was there anything specific? And it's very, it's good. Like, I always read it, but it just, I don't find that it's, I don't know. I find sometimes the what's written in the little white book for the specific card doesn't really have anything to do with the card. It's my experience. Yours might be different. Your mileage may vary. I'm not saying anything bad about the creator or anything. I think they're amazing. Like I said, I love that book. I just feel like for me the book leaves a little bit to be desired. That's okay. All right. The next one is the Mystic Mondays. This was a birthday present from my other half last year. And it is birthday month for me. Again this year. I don't think he's going to be buying me a tarot deck because he realizes how many I have. But that's okay because I've been buying myself tarot decks. A lot of tarot decks. I love this. So it's kind of minimal art. But I find there's enough in the images to really spark my intuition. Love this card. If that's not a King of Pentacles, I don't know. So I just find that there's enough to spark my intuition, and I love the colors, I love the bright, I love the artwork. It's beautiful. And this is not my normal style of artwork that I would have been called to if asked a year ago. But I'm so glad that it came into my possession. Okay, another deck that I've been using is still this one. This one just sits on my desk because it makes me laugh. This is the Housewives Tarot. Right? Housewives Tarot. It makes me laugh. Like this card, for example. Chocolate cake is the devil. What else does he have? Instant coffee, spork, ready cheese. I don't know if that says choose your vice for cigarettes, Valium, and TV dinner. We were never allowed to have those, by the way, as a kid, because my traditional Italian parents, everything had to be made by hand. So I don't know. This card or this deck just makes me laugh. It gives me the meanings right away. I don't even have to I've never had to look at the book. I read the book with the first time I got it. I've never had to look at the book But I just love it so much. Again, that's another deck that will never be leaving my collection. All right, another deck that I have been working with. This is another one that I had modified, and this is my Anna K Tarot. So I trimmed it, as you can probably tell from the back. I did a dark gold metallic edging, and there you go. You can see the trim. So I trimmed everything off. I trimmed off the titles, the numbers, everything. And the reason I did that is because it is very Rider-Waite-Smith imagery. And so obviously in a different style, but I found that I didn't need, there's an orgy going on there. I don't think I ever saw that card. And this deck works wonderful if you are using directions. So directionality, like it's awesome, like the way that it speaks. So you could do a movie spread, you could do, you know, using directions, and it's wonderful. If you're curious about how to do that, Tarot Oracle has a wonderful tutorial series on that, and I highly recommend it. So this has been a lot of fun for me to use. Another one that's I pulled out for the spring is my Forest of Enchantment Tarot, although I haven't used this as much as I would like. But again, this is another one that I want to get into more depth on. So this is again a hand knit tarot bag. This is just, I have it discombobulated. Migraine, guys, doesn't work. Brain and hands don't work. Okay. I have been trying to give the Art of History Tarot another try. So this is a tarot deck, and I have a walkthrough of this deck on my channel, and I also have a review of this deck and the workbook. So I had purchased, when I bought the deck, I paid additional for the 21-day workbook that came with it, and I worked through that, and then I did another an actual review of the whole thing. So again, you can find that on my channel. I was not enthused with it for a number of reasons. One of the things, well, first of all, let me say the backs are gorgeous, right? Like the backs are absolutely gorgeous. I edged it in a pale pink to match the pink outline on the roses. And I think the artwork is beautiful. It's all artwork that's in the public domain. So, oh, she might be the only person of color in this deck. I'm not sure. But there is, I know that there's there's actually an indigenous woman, and I think there's like one Japanese woman. Oh, there's another person of color, slavery, the devil, right? Anyway, so because is it Melody, I think, is her first name. Sorry, I can't remember her last name. She was using artwork that is all from the public domain, so she was obviously limited in some respects, especially in terms of, you know, people of color. So the artwork is beautiful, right? Like the artwork is beautiful. There's some Romani there. Anyway, I have a couple of things with this. I had a couple of major issues with this deck. Is that one, so they give you, this is the, I feel like she did it backwards, okay, at least for my preference. Obviously, an artist can do whatever they want, right? Or a tarot creator can do whatever they want. I'm not criticizing that. And just like, for me, my preference would have been to have the card number in the larger font up here, and then this could have been smaller, or they could have had both. But my problem is that you can't see that. It is really hard. It's really hard to read some of them. Some of them are not so bad, right? That one is pretty, I don't know if that, it looks, you know, here they've used white font, right, on a dark background. But in many cards, it's almost impossible to see what the card is. So, especially, you know, like this one, for example. What is that? Is that a 3? Is it an 8? Let's see if I can focus. I don't know. So what happens is that even if I wanted to use that as a regular tarot deck, I can't, because I can't tell right offhand from the artwork. This doesn't bring to mind the 7 of Swords to me, right? Or like, it's just an example. But so if she at least had the card number larger, then I can at least say, you know what, I'll just go by Rider-Waite-Smith meanings and not worry so much, and then use the images to add layers to the meaning. But as it is, the artwork is not giving me enough, and I can't see. Like, I have to struggle to see. Anyways, all that to say, I did all the past life readings. This thing, it just didn't work for me. Bear in mind, this is my opinion only. I'm not criticizing the creator whatsoever. This is my opinion, and this is probably a fault of mine. I mean, it's not the creator's problem that I can't see properly. Now, I have really damn good vision, despite the fact that I'm wearing glasses. But the glasses actually have like almost no prescription on it. It's like a 1.25 or something. But what it does is just correct, like, one of my eyes was going a little bit lazy. I was getting migraines because one of my eyes was going a little bit, I was having hard time focusing. Anyway, whatever, too much info. So I'm giving this another try. And and the other thing is, because I started off using this right with the past life readings, and I think it might have worked better if I had more knowledge of it through regular tarot readings first. And so I'm going to give this another try. I had this on my for sale listings on Facebook, and then I decided to take it off because I decided I want to give it another try. And if I really can't work with it, then I'll let it go. All right. I've been doing Lenormand readings, using my Fairy Tale Lenormand. So I use these. I use this deck for weekly Lenormand readings. They're very, very cool. The artwork is by Lisa Hunt. I do have a walkthrough on my channel, so check it out if you're curious on the whole thing. And I will show, in a minute, I'll show the journal as well, just to show how I set it up. All right, because I love to see how other people set their stuff up. All right, I'll just show one more deck, and then that'll be it. And this is the other oracle deck I've been using, which is my Vintage Wisdom Oracle. So again, I had a second copy of this one, and I let the second copy go just a couple of weeks ago because I don't know. I mean, I love this deck. Don't get me wrong, and it's kind of like the Falarcos, where I thought, oh, you know what? I need to make sure I have a second deck of this, a backup. And I've decided, you know what? I'm just not gonna worry about it. Like, I treat my decks pretty carefully for the most part, other than riffle shuffling, which people tell me is not great for decks, but it makes me happy. That's in another. All right. Those are the decks that I've been using. Oh, no, sorry. There is one more that I do want to show. This is in a tarot wrap that I made, where I did the flowers and then this stained pink, bright pink other side. So this is the Next World Tarot. This is an amazing deck. Okay, so here's the backs. They're gorgeous, gorgeous. This is another deck actually that I also put on my sale list and then changed my mind. The reason I put it up for sale wasn't because I don't love it, because I do. The reason I put it up for sale is because they're huge. Like, I can't, I definitely can't riffle shuffle this. They're just so big. And so what I was going to do was buy the pocket edition. But I decided, you know what, it's fine. I'll just live with it. I love, this deck is amazing in its diversity of all kinds. We're not just talking about ethnicities, but also, what does that say? Yonkers? Nowhere. Sexualities, sorry guys, words are not freaking working. My brain is not working full tilt. Look at that. Body sizes, body shapes. That one doesn't have any bodies in it. There's one, I just wanted to show, I really like this. I love this. The Queen of Pentacles, like, amazing. My favorite card, I have to show you my favorite card in this deck. And my favorite card in this deck is the Lover's card. Let's see if I can find it. I also love that it's, you know, it is modern, right? She's sitting there, she's the magician, she's sitting there with her laptop. Where is the Lover's card? Oh, the High Priestess. Like, I just can't. Sorry, this is gonna take a second. The Lover's card. This is my favorite card in the deck. The Lovers. So this is not two separate people. This is her finally coming to love, accept, and love herself just as she is, because she's perfect as she is. You will notice she has a cane, right? So that's what I mean. They have different, but there's actually also, I'm pretty sure there is a wheelchair in here as well. So anyway, I really love this deck, and this deck, it gives me good feels. It gives me powerful readings. I don't use it for every day. I use it for big stuff, or for when I really need somebody to give me a kick in the pants is not the right term, but like a loving kick in the pants. Does that make sense? Yeah, I don't know how else to explain it other than that, but anyway, so that's the last deck that I've been using. Okay, what else have I been doing? So I haven't been doing a ton of tarot readings despite all the decks that I've shown you. But what I have been doing is I've been doing some studying. So I already showed you my journal in my first video, my tarot study journal for the one deck. I want to show you some irregular tarot readings are in this journal. There's the back. I'm really enjoying that. And so with this journal, I just want to show, I won't show in depth obviously, but it doesn't have to be anything like super crazy, right? Like I basically just draw out my spread if I'm using a spread, and in point form, like what the position is, and then fill in the specific card, and then I actually will do my readings. I like to write down my readings because I find that my reading actually develops as I'm like writing things down. Actually helps me to like really reflect and sort of get more out of it. So it's not just about coming back, but actually like the whole process of reviewing it. Whereas I find that if I don't write it down, you know, I'll look at a spread and I'll interpret it and it'll be great, but probably not scratching as much of the, like much deeper than the surface. I have this deck, just a picture of me when I have blonde hair and my son, that I'm using for, or this book, sorry, did I say deck? That I'm using for my, my weekly readings. And in here, I do things slightly differently, where I actually paste in. So this is a weekly Lenormand reading. So there's my 5 cards for every day of the week, the theme for the week, and I actually paste in. So I have one of those little HP sprocket printers. Lay out a bunch of cards, print them out, and then peel the back off. The other thing I've done also is print out. Nope, those are the sprocket. Well, here, for example, these are actual paper. So I did the process where I explained before, where I lay all the cards, take a picture, and then cut them all out. And so I have all these little mini decks in a big tarot box. And so when I need a card, I just pull it out and paste it in. So I've been doing that with both Lenormand and tarot, and it has been very interesting seeing how very often the themes will be very similar between the two. So I don't know if you guys do you guys do that? Do you guys do both a daily or a weekly reading? Will you do just one or the other, or just oracle, or will you do 2 separate readings using the 2 different systems? And do you ever compare? I would love to hear if other people do, because for me, I mean, I've only done it about 4 or 5 times now, but I find that the 2 often very reflect off each other very well. And my last week, the theme actually for both ended up being exactly the same. yeah, so I just, even though I'm doing them at actually I do those readings at 2 separate times on 2 separate days. So I would love to hear what you guys do and how it works for you guys. So I've been studying Tarot de Marseille, as I mentioned. So there's a couple of books. This one here I read already, the Tarot, the Open Reading by Yoav Bendoff. There's another book that's called the Marseille Revealed, which is the exact same book, just an updated version. I think it just has a different color cover. This one is cheaper because it's the older version, but the material is all the same, is what I have been told. So don't clutch your pearls, but I actually highlight. Sometimes I write in them. Usually I just highlight, but my process, this is my process. So I read, actually I've done the same thing here. This is another book that I got at that half price books place. So this one is Understanding the Tarot by Liz Dean. This is not a TDM. This is just Marseille style. But I read through, trying to find, well, I read through, actually here I didn't have a highlighter, so I actually underlined in a colored pen. So I read through once, just the whole chapter, and then I will go through again and I will underline or highlight like specific things that I want to make sure are the key points, right? Things I want to make sure that I remember, and then I go through in my journal and the key points, like pretty much, like, I mean, I'll summarize the whole chapter, but just like briefly, but the key points I'll make sure that I've got listed in there, just so that I have it helps cement it in my memory. So I haven't finished with my journaling for this one. I read the book a couple of times, and so I have to finish journaling with that one, and then I'm going to start on this one. I have read a whole bunch of this, actually most of this book as well. There's no highlighting in this one. I will do that the second time around, but I love that this one uses this is the Tarot Classic by Stuart Kaplan, and I have the tarot deck as well, so it's great having that to refer back to. Okay, my friends, that is it. Finally, we're at another hour. Oh my God. If you're still here, thank you so much. To close off, so if I'm closing off basically my 1 year on YouTube, it's been a ride. It's been fun. I really appreciate everyone who supports me and who chats with me and talks to me, who reaches out to me. I really appreciate it. Oh, you know what? The other thing I didn't do is talk about the tutorials I did. So I also did some tutorials for both knitting and crocheting tarot deck bags. So those are on my channel as well. I've had great great comments from those. Some people have sent me messages on Messenger. I really appreciate that. And I've had a couple of people ask me for help on certain things. That's awesome. I'm happy to do that. If I can, please keep them coming. Let me know how it goes. I love seeing how people interpret and change the pattern and do things. And some people have done VRs. I know Yvette over at Willow Creek did a VR and showed her process, which is pretty much the same, except that she does a better job so she does crochet, not knit, but she did a better job than I did on the just rounding the front. I don't have a well, sorry, okay, this is a knit one, but see how it's a little rounded. I didn't know how to do that actually properly in crochet. knitting, no problem. I didn't know how to do it properly in crochet, and so she, you know, it was great to learn from her on that. And other people have made a whole bunch and tagged me on Instagram, so please continue to do that. I love seeing that. You know, reach out, and if there's anything else you would like to see, please let me know. In terms of knitting, like there's, oh my gosh, knitting is so much fun. It is so relaxing, and I have this next to my desk, so if I'm sitting in a meeting and I just have to listen, then I can pull out, this is all sock pairs in progress, mostly very early on. As you can see, this is just the cuff. Actually, I had almost the entire sock knit, and I had started this a year and a half ago, and my gauge changed. So when I did after, you know, 2/3, anyway, it was going to be too small for me. So I ripped it out, and which is fine. Start again. I have started on that one, but again, that one I think is still the same thing at the cuff. Here's one where there's a foot. So this one I did toe up. So the foot, turn the heel, and now I'm knitting the leg. And then I have to start the second sock. So, oh, there is another one in here as well. This one I'm doing from the cuff down, and I'm doing a little cable. Ignore this pink, that's just a counter for me so I know where I am. But so I pick one of those up, or there's sparkly shiny yarn. I love it. I love it. Or I pick up my blanket. So I started off doing little minis, like basically leftover balls, like that were like this big, and doing different colors, right? So I'm just joining as I go. And now I'm at the point where I think I showed actually this this ball of yarn, cake of yarn. I have 2 of them. This was all like samples of fluff that I then spun into yarn, and just joined it all together. So I made 2 gigantic balls, so I don't have to keep grabbing the little ballies anymore. I don't have to worry, I just have to knit. So it's nice and easy to pick up. And this is a multi-year project, guys. This is not a like 2-month project. This will be multiple years because I'm making a king-size blanket. You just join as you go. And so I've decided, I was doing like multiple, oops, showing it backwards. I was doing multiple columns at a time, and then I decided that I wanted to see actually how long the whole thing needed to be. So I wanted to do one full length. So I have another 2 feet. Oh, the needle's gone. I have to do another like 2 feet, and then I'll have the full length, and then I'll move on to pick up on the second row and continue as well. So again, it'll be a multi-year project, but it's perfect for those times when I just like, I don't want to think, just want to do something super, super simple, you know, and not have to worry. I have this sweater that I have to pick up, so I'll show you the I have to actually fix first, but I'll show you a picture. This is a black and white picture. It is called a sailing sweater, and I have to pick it up again. It's been sitting for a while, and it looks like, so the thing with lace is that it looks like shit as you're knitting it, and it's not until you wash it and block it that you see all of the pattern. But it is a lovely pumpkin color, so I have to pick that up again. So in terms of spinning, I spun this. Actually, it's a very similar color to that one, persimmon color. And I have a blue-green. They're both about almost 400 yards. Or actually, this one's less. This one's 240 yards, and this one's 400 yards. Don't know what I'll make with them. That's a decision for another time. And my next project will be this. So this is what the fluff comes, or one form that the fluff comes in, right? So right now it's just all sort of packed up, but you can, right? So that will be my next thing, and then I'll probably make a hat and mitt set or something. Anyway, so the past year has been wonderful. So thank you so much. If you're interested in a video where I'm like actually knitting as I'm talking to you, we'll just pick a topic. I can do that, or spinning too, if anybody's curious as to the process. I think that would be fun. I've been thinking about doing a live at some point. I haven't picked a date yet, but I think I will do that. Yeah, it's been a year. A lot has happened in the past year. Some great stuff, some not so great stuff. Like when it comes to, especially this year, it has been tough. But I've been trying to get through it with studying different things and practicing, and knitting. I really just picked up again a couple, 2 or 3 months ago, I guess now, because I had lost my mojo for over a year, and so I'm glad that it's coming back now. It's just like a race of what's what. Right? So that's why actually reading is great, because I can read and I can knit at the same time, so I can do both things. But I would love to hear what you guys have been working on. I've enjoyed, if you do videos and you've already put some out, thank you for doing that. I took a break for a while, so I have a whole bunch to catch up on. Which is great because I have to jump back on the treadmill. But I would like, for my 1 year anniversary, what I would like to do is I would like to do a little giveaway, and I purposely didn't put this, I'm not going to put this in the title description or anything. I would like it to be for people who have actually stuck around for this long. But what I would like to do is to crochet a tarot pouch for someone. So if you're interested in a crocheted tarot pouch, it could be either this style or sideways, whatever you pick. Please let me know. So it will either be that, or the alternative would be a tarot wrap. So I'll show you what these look like. I'm sure you've seen these before, either on my channel or other people's channels. But so 2 colors, 1 on each side, and a ribbon, a matching ribbon, to close it off with. And so you can pick, you can decide, and you can let me know what deck it's for. So especially if you're choosing the crochet one, I will do my best to find some matching yarn for you, in whatever colors. And you can tell me whether you prefer to have like a solid color or to have multiple colors. Let me know what your preferences are. So if you're interested in either of those things, please put your maybe just say add an emoji in the comments and just say either bag or wrap. All right, and please do be subscribed to my. You do need to be subscribed to my channel. I will check. I appreciate that, and I will leave this open for a week. So whenever I manage to upload this, I'll leave it up for 7 days, and then I'll do a live drawing, and hope you win. Anyways, I hope you're well. I hope you're keeping safe and sane and happy and healthy. And please let me know what your preferences are down below in the comments, and also let me know what you've been working on. I would really love to read about it. Okay,